you all for coming. Hernando County Sheriff Al Nienhuis. And for those of you who may not have heard all the details, this actually started back last month on the 20th, when, as was mentioned, a Good Samaritan came in, and almost immediately we knew that this was one of the more serious, if not the most serious, child sexual battery cases that we'd ever investigated. Within 10 days, we did the press conference explaining what we had, and of course, here we find ourselves today. And to reiterate a couple things, my detectives immediately contacted the state attorney's office on this and any other significant cases that we have, and got them on board very quickly. And I have to say, not just in this case, but any significant case we have, our state attorney, Bill Gladson, and his people are second to none when it comes to helping us in our goal of protecting the citizens and keeping them safe. They get on board very quickly and give us guidance to help make the prosecution as viable as we possibly can, as early on as we possibly can. But something we don't do very often is I got on the phone and called our Attorney General, and he answered. And, I certainly don't try to abuse that, but he and I spoke briefly about this. And for anybody who, and I've worked for the state, and I know sometimes they can be bureaucratic, but I will tell you in this particular case, it was anything but bureaucratic. The Attorney General and his people were on board immediately and moved very, very quickly to provide us with any possible support that we could need in investigating and preparing for the grand jury on this particular case. And so I want to personally thank you. Appreciate it, Attorney General. And of course, the statewide prosecutor, who you'll hear from momentarily, was on board from the very beginning as well. And as already been mentioned, the detectives, my major case detectives, not only have to look through the pictures and through the videos, and I think we're approaching so far a total of about 575 to 600 videos and pictures. About 100 of those are videos. All of them, none of them were downloaded by this individual. All of them were made by him, and he even mentioned in one of his interviews that he doesn't download child porn, he makes his own. So that gives you a little indication of what this person is like. And the detectives working, Vassalero, working to download these things and look at them and categorize them and prepare them for the prosecutors to look at is horrific. But just as difficult, Detective Heiler and Detective Cameron having to sit pretty much knee to knee with this individual and speak to him like they're talking about where they're going to go for lunch, when they're talking about things that the average citizen doesn't even want to think about, much less have to talk about. And I have to give a lot of credit to them. They are consummate professionals when it comes to this, and we're able to obviously get additional information from the suspect. And so to say we appreciate their efforts is a huge understatement. And last, and I said it during the press conference, and they haven't let us down since then, is the Secret Service. And I know sometimes our federal partners get a bad rap, but over the last several years, they have been instrumental in helping us stand up our forensics, digital forensics area, including training several of my detectives, giving us overtime, giving us equipment, tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to be able to extract the data quickly. If we had to send this data out, we'd probably still be waiting for that data to come back. So, and since that time, the Secret Service has stepped up because they know that my small group of people have been focusing on this, and they've actually helped us with some of our backlog, because the work doesn't stop. Just because you have one major case doesn't mean that all of your other cases stop. They don't. And so I've got to really give a lot of credit to Secret Service. They've been very instrumental in getting us to the point that we're at today. Again, I appreciate the support of the public. I will tell you, in Hernando County, a very conservative county, this type of where you take advantage of true victims, and oftentimes in law enforcement, and it certainly does not make it right, and we try to get justice for any victim, but oftentimes we find people are leading a high-risk lifestyle. But when you're talking about victims that are between 3 years old and the oldest 10 years old who'd been victimized for a while, these are true victims. They have done nothing to put themselves in to this situation. And so getting justice for them is priority one for us, for our state attorney, and for our attorney general, as well as I know the governor and the legislature. They are serious about this, and we certainly appreciate the support we get from them and from our local community. We never take it for granted. So now I'll turn it over to our statewide prosecutor. I think she has some words as well. So, yeah.
Good morning. As you heard, my name is Rita Peters, and I'm an assistant statewide prosecutor and special counsel to our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer. I, along with my co-counsel, who's actually in the audience today, Brianna Zupko, we have the honor and the pleasure of actually assisting the 5th Judicial Circuit under the State Attorney, Bill Gladson, on this case. When I was contacted by our statewide prosecutor, Bradley McVeigh, telling me we might need to get involved in this case to assist the 5th, yes didn't come out of my mouth fast enough. After prosecuting these types of crimes for a quarter of a century, yes, I said that right, 25 years I've been involved in sex crimes prosecution. This is by far one of the most heinous investigations that I've ever been involved in. I thank our partners, our prosecution partners in Hernando County, through the 5th Judicial Circuit and the leadership of State Attorney Bill Gladson, as well as by the sheriff and his detectives who are absolutely committed and dedicated to this investigation. This is more than just a commitment. This is our shared duty, because when a child is harmed, it harms the entire community, and it shakes us, but it takes unfailing courage and perseverance to ensure that these emotionally charged cases are prosecuted. But no one prosecutes these cases alone. And what you've heard today is that part of this investigation goes outside of Hernando County, and we will take the baton from the 5th Judicial Circuit and continue this investigation wherever the facts may lead to ensure that justice is done. When we prosecute these cases, it takes a team of prosecutors, not just one person. It takes the leader and their assistants. It also takes investigators, law enforcement, support staff, and victim advocates, because we walk alongside those child victims in our pursuit of justice. Children are the most valuable resource we have, and it is our responsibility to protect them. It belongs to all of us, prosecutors, law enforcement, and the community. When a child is harmed, it is because an adult made a choice to hurt them. And it is our job to ensure that those actions and those choices carry very heavy consequences. It is not an easy duty to announce death on a case, because at the end of that death sentence, we know that a child had to be harmed for us to ask for that type of a sentence. While we cannot undo the harm that has been inflicted upon these children, we will take every step we can to ensure that there is accountability. And that's what justice looks like: partnership, persistence, and protection. Our mission is simple: to ensure that justice is served, and we always will do what is right. We will always stand with our victims, and I'm so thankful that our Attorney General, his top priority is to keep Florida safe. Thank you.
Yeah, here in Florida, we're going to stop at nothing to protect our kids. That's my commitment, and it's the commitment of this team up here. As long as we're here, we will do absolutely everything to protect our children. And again, I'll conclude by thanking our law enforcement. Florida is a law and order state. We are a safe state because we get it. It's not complicated. We give these guys the support they need. We've got their backs. And at the end of the day, we let them do their jobs here in Florida. We empower them. We defend them. We give them the tools to be successful. And they do a terrific job. So thank you, Sheriff. The investigators and prosecutors that had to go through this harmful stuff, you know, we've talked about what a heavy lift that is, and it cannot be said enough. And it's why I've called on the legislature and hope they will consider adding, the employees of our prosecution offices up and down the state, our investigators, into the special risk retirement pool where people get more compensation towards retirement and can retire earlier. At the end of the day, these people, they stick their necks out. They take enemies head on, face to face in the courtroom. Oftentimes, it's the last face that a dangerous criminal will see before getting locked up. So we're going to have their backs. Thanks again for being here. I think there's time for a few questions. I'm going to, State Attorney, you mind taking the questions? You know, he better knows the details that can be shared. So I'll turn the podium back over to him unless you need me.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yes, so a couple weeks ago, the sheriff had a press conference, he mentioned additional devices that were found on 30. Just, are you all able to say, are detectives still combing through that evidence?
I can confidently say they are still going through it. If you want some more specifics about how many devices and how far they've gotten, I can turn it over to the sheriff.
I can. As late as this morning, I think we're about 2/3 of the way through, roughly. Of course, we don't know what we're going to find on it. Fortunately, praise the Lord that we have not found additional victims on that, but we still have a ways to go. And I think it's important to reiterate that if anybody has dealt with this particular individual, particularly if they have young children, to make sure they let us know. We have gotten a couple tips, but fortunately those tips did not result in any new victims. But yeah, we still have a ways to go, but we've been through about 2/3 of it. And again, as was said, almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we're combing through that information. So,
You know, I think Hughes and his comments about you're going to certainly go over the death penalty guns in jail.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You notified the accused of the indictment.
I believe it.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, the process is a capias is issued. He's in custody right now, so he was served with the capias, and his defense attorney was served with the indictment and the notice. So.